Welcome to Inside the Indians, your source for insider information on the Tribe. Stay with us as we bring you the latest about the players, managers, and people behind the scenes at Victory Field. Now here's your host, the longtime broadcast voice of the Indians, Howard Kelman.
Hi everybody, I'm Howard Kelman and welcome to Inside the Indians. Today's guest, Indians hitting coach Eric Munson. We'll be back with Eric after these words. Munson is our guest on Inside the Indians. Eric is the Indianapolis Indians hitting coach. Eric, before we talk about the Indians, let's go back to your playing days. Take us back. You were a very high draft pick coming out of USC. Take us back to those days.
Yeah, well, it was a long time ago. I went to college at USC and played for Mike Gillespie. Got drafted by the Detroit Tigers and played for them for about 5 years, and then after that, spent the next about 6 or 7 years with a few different teams. With a few different teams, and then when I retired, I went back to Iowa, where my wife is from, and opened up a baseball academy, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay, before we get to your big league time, in Toledo in 2002, you had a terrific year, and that had to be really special because that was the opening of Fifth Third Field in Toledo. Bruce Fields was the manager. And those fans were very supportive, and you performed great.
Yeah, that was a fun year. Like you said, that was the first year that they had opened up the brand new ballpark, and so obviously a lot of excitement around the ballpark. We had a pretty good team, and yeah, I had a really good time that year. A lot of good memories and good teammates, and like you said, just really cool when you get to open up in a brand new ballpark. So I remember coming through Indianapolis as well that year. So yeah, good league and some good memories.
There were a couple of times in the big leagues you hit a number of home runs in the season. Tell us a highlight or two that stands out from your time as a player in the major leagues.
Well, the one really that does for me, because I've been asked it before. I had a walk-off homer against Arizona. We were playing interleague, but the cool part about that was after the game, Muhammad Ali was actually at the game, and we didn't know about it. And so he was in the clubhouse afterwards. And so I got to shake his hand and get my picture taken with him. I still have the picture at my house. So that was a pretty cool moment. So that's the one that sticks out for me.
That's a real special moment, as you said. What was it like? You were a catcher, I believe, in college, and then they move you and they change positions. So you have to deal with that in addition to hitting, obviously.
Yeah, so like you said, in college, I caught, and then when I first got drafted, they initially moved me to first base, and so that's why I played the first year and a half or 2 years in the minors, and then my first full year in the big leagues, I transitioned to third. The winter before that, I went to Puerto Rico and played for Jose Kendo, and one of my good buddies, Andres Torres, is from Puerto Rico, and so we played on the same team down there in that winter, and that's where I learned a lot from Jose. He kind of showed me the ropes about, transitioning back to a corner infield spot to third base. And that was a great winter for me. I really enjoyed my time in Puerto Rico, and that really helped me be ready for spring training that year and transition to third.
That's got to be quite a change because when you're catching, obviously you're involved every single minute out there. When you're at third base, you have to be ready, but you go 6 or 7 innings without a ball being hit to you.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It has a challenge in its own, just like you said, because you're used to seeing the ball every single pitch, but it's a reaction position. And that's honestly, that was probably one of the best pieces of advice I got was not try to worry or get too cute with my footwork. Just turn it into a reaction position, because that's what I had been doing most of my career by catching. So that was good advice that I got. And that really helped me that first year of just I played more shallow because I just didn't have a ton of range anyways. So playing shallow and turning into a reaction position really helped me.
That's an interesting point because some third basemen will play in, others will play deep, and there can be a gray area there where you can be in trouble if you're not either one or either in or deep.
Yeah, it's just, altogether it's a tough spot because you're not really going to get a whole lot of true hops. Most of the balls that are hit over there are going to have some sort of side spin, and that creates some in between hops. So, the depth of where you play really matters. And for me, it just made a lot more sense to play shallow. There's other guys that have more range where they probably have a little bit more of a shortstop background where that wasn't the case for me. So playing shallow really helped me.
What was the overall thing like? Was it easier? Obviously, catching takes so much out of your body. Was it easier playing a position for you than catching?
Yeah, I think they all have their own, unique challenges. Obviously, third base, like I said, just having different hops and different bounces and the different spin coming at you. If you haven't done it for a while, it takes some adjusting. Then I played some first, so the corner over there is obviously different. You get to play back a little bit more unless you're holding somebody on, so you've got some more time. And then catching, obviously the physical part on your body, but I think more than anything, catching is it's the mental part, preparing for the games and making sure that you're servicing your pitcher. That's really enjoyable. So they all have their challenges, and they all have their unique enjoyment to each one of them. They're all quite different. So I enjoyed all of them. I always said I wasn't good enough at any one of them to stick there for more than a couple of years. I could only trick them for a couple of years before they moved me somewhere else. But no, I enjoyed all of them.
You were a good enough player coming out of high school to have signed then. I believe you were a second-round pick in high school and one of the top picks when you came out of college. Would you advise young players to go to college and do what you did?
I think it depends on their situation. The game is a lot different now than when I was younger. When I was younger, I didn't think it really hurt you to go to college, where now it could, because the game is so much younger. A lot of our international players, they sign very young. And so by the time they're 21 years old, they have a lot of experience, where if somebody goes to college, they don't start pro ball until they're 21. So they're like a rookie when they're 21. So, but college has an advantage as well, because you get to grow up. You get to, play for a lot of managers have experience, and they teach you how to play the game. So there's give and take both ways with that.
Eric, thank you. We'll be back with more with Eric Munson. This is Inside the Indians. Munson, the Indianapolis Indians hitting coach, is our guest on Inside the Indians. And Eric, you're back in coaching now, but you ran an academy, I don't know if that's the correct word, or a hitting school in Iowa, and still have that business. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's correct. I started that. My wife and I started that. Call her the brains behind the operation. We started that back in 2013. And we've had travel teams. We do lessons, camps, clinics, pretty much anything we can to try and give instruction to the amateur side and a lot of youth. So our age, it ranges anywhere from 8 years old till college. So yeah, we've just been providing that service in Dubuque, Iowa for almost 10 years now. It's been good. And now that I'm a little bit removed from it, I have a lot of good people in place that are taking over duties and taking over time. So I feel like it's in good hands. Excuse me. I feel like it's in good hands. And like I said, my wife, she's been running the day-to-day operations behind the scenes, all the administrative, the scheduling, all of it. So she's got a full plate. She does a great job, and I feel pretty secure. It's in good hands, and it'll keep running.
If someone watching is interested, what should that person do to get in touch with your people?
You can go to our website. It's just goldstandardathletics.com, and that'll give you all your information. That's
good. So tell us about the decision to come into coaching and become the Indianapolis Indians hitting coach.
Well, I knew eventually I always wanted to get back into pro ball, just because obviously I love it. I love the game and I love the challenge. it just, the timing hadn't been right yet with my family. I've got two kids. They're a little bit older now, and I feel like they're both in a good place with my wife being at home and where they're at as far as their age. And they're I feel like it's just a better time right now. And so the last few years I've been considering it, and this year this opportunity came up. Obviously, everything is different with the way that the leagues are realigned. You know, I'm very close to home. It's a 5-hour drive. I just drove up this morning with an off day yesterday. And then the travel is great. Like it's not as tough of a job as it used to be. The travel was pretty rough before, and now the travel is a lot easier. And so there's a lot of things that went into the decision. I've got a relationship with Andy Haynes. I've known him for a few years, and he called and asked if I'd be interested in interviewing. You know, I thought it'd be a really good idea. He talked to me about the job and kind of described what it would entail. So everything just kind of lined up for me and my family, and here I am, excited to be here. It's a good place.
Tell us a little bit about your philosophy of hitting and what you try to get across to the young players.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, my philosophy is to not have a philosophy. I think you have to be adaptable to each player. Everybody's different. You know, I told the players that, you know, Brady Conlon, our job is pretty, I can describe in 2 words, right? We got to be prepared, right? And we have to be available. So that to me is 2 of the most important things as a hitting coach. You know, we have to have the information. There's a lot of information nowadays. Our job is to try and simplify that for the players and to have the information and be prepared with that. And then the other part is to be available. You know, everybody's different with their routine in the cage, what they want to do pregame. So we just need to be available for them.
Are you concerned with a hitter's launch angle? Is that something you talk to hitters about?
No, I don't really talk about it. Those numbers are things that, you know, we have data on and we keep track of. They're just tools to use. You know, if somebody hits the ball really hard and they're hitting everything into the ground, you know, we can tell because the launch angle will tell us that. And so that's nothing that I don't really believe in trying to give a bunch of big numbers to the players. I just try to watch their video, look at their information and see what they're doing. And then, you know, if we need to make adjustments or suggestions, then we'll do that. But I just don't believe in like one way of teaching or having it revolve around one area. There's a lot more to hitting than that.
A lot of the Pirates, that's Miguel Perez in the background and Gary Green in the background, 2 of our previous guests on Inside the Indians. We see you, Miguel. Thanks for saying hello. Some hitters in this day and age have this all or nothing approach. They don't care if they strike out as long as they hit a long ball every once in a while. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I think, number one, I think they all care. Nobody really likes to strike out. I think it's probably a little more accepted in today's game because we know it's really hard to string together, you know, 3 or 4 singles to score a run. And so, you know, hitting the ball over the fence is a premium. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you got to be a good hitter first. And, you know, that starts with getting a good pitch to hit. And if we get a good pitch to hit, we put a good swing on it, then that's really all we can control. And so the strikeout thing to me, you know, I know guys that play at this level have a ton of pride, and I don't think anybody really wants to strike out. I just think like the industry, it says it's okay, but at the end of the day, it's not. The players don't like it. I think it's just more accepted.
We'll be back with more with Eric Munson on the home of the Indians, WHMB TV 40. The Indianapolis Indians hitting coach is our guest on Inside the Indians. And Eric, when we look at this team, you have a lot of good young players. Tell us about your work with them and how you feel about working with young players. Yeah,
we do. We've got a lot of talent. There's no doubt about that. And it's a lot of fun to work with talent. These kids really have an idea as well. It's not just talent. You can tell just through spring and early on, they pay attention to their work and how they go about it. Excuse me. And so, yeah, so far it's been great. We have a lot of tough at bats, and we have a very diverse lineup. We can do a lot of different things. We've got power, we've got speed, we've got guys that have really tough at bats that can work a count. We do a pretty good job of swinging at strikes and getting good pitches to hit. So, so far, like I said, I really like what I'm seeing. It's hard not to when you've got, prospects and talent like we do. So, we're gonna keep going about our work and just try to be prepared every day and see where we go. But so far, I like what I'm seeing.
The team had a 5-game winning streak recently, and what was so incredible is you outscored the opposition 27-6 during that 5-game winning streak. So it had to be special because not only was the pitching terrific, but the offense was great too. Everybody clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, like I said, Miggy does a great job of mixing up the lineups and getting guys in and getting some good matchups. And we've got a tough lineup. No matter who we run out there, you're going to have some problems facing us at up and down the lineup. And so, it's a good run. We had an off day yesterday, and we're excited to get back at it today and hopefully get off to a good start in this series. And like I said, we're excited about this group and really excited to see where we go from here.
The number one prospect is O'Neill Cruz. Tell us your thoughts on him as a hitter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can just see by watching him. He's got plenty of tools. He has everything that, all the makings of a good player, and especially a good hitter. So it's, he's young and like everybody else, this game you'll go through growing pains. It'll even happen to him. He's doing fine so far. I don't think we've really seen what he can do yet as far as production. We know it's going to come. It's just, and we all know too, like early in the season, it's not easy to hit, being cold and everything. So hopefully the warm weather comes. He'll heat up, but he's doing fine. He's holding his own, but we know it's just a matter of time before he gets hot. And having him, towards the top of our lineup, it's just going to make us better. And that's a good thing about what we've done is it hasn't just been one person. Everybody in the lineup has contributed. O'Neill's contributed, and so is everybody else, throughout the lineup and at the bottom. So it's a good club. It's a good lineup, and we're, like I said, again, we're just excited to see where we go.
Will you say anything to a player during a game, after an at-bat, or is it strictly before and after games that you communicate with them?
No, I mean, during the game, we talk about, who they have coming in. It's just about our approach on, who we're facing and what the ball is doing out of the pitcher's hand. We like to talk about, we want to swing at what's available to us. So, we just really try to have a good approach on who's pitching and what are they giving us to hit. And so we talk about that, and it's not a lot. It's just it's a couple of, key words or key phrases that, hopefully get them in the right mind frame or just give them an idea of what we're trying to attack. So yeah, all the mechanical stuff or anything to do with video, we do that after or before. During the game, it's just approach.
How much of hitting is mechanics? How much is the mental approach and the confidence angle?
Well, at this level, most of these guys, if not all of them, have good mechanics. There's going to be flaws here and there. That's just part of the season. As our bodies get tired or, we get dinged up, what have you, some things can change. And that's for video work and making sure that as hitting coaches, we're watching that and making sure that we're not, getting too far off of our path. But really in game, it's a lot of, how are you going to compete in the box? It's a battle between you and the pitcher, and, you can make up for, shaky mechanics with a really tough mindset and compete. If you can compete in the box, you're going to make up for a flaw in your swing or a flaw in your move. they always say that, our swing is going to follow our approach. So if we don't have an approach, or, we just have a bad mindset and we're already beat, it doesn't matter how good your swing is. It's going to be really, really tough to hit. So, we talk about that too, just trying to really compete each at bat, and not just for yourself, but compete for your teammates, because, that's how you wear a pitcher down. That's how you get into the bullpen. And that's really important now, especially because we play 6-game series. So if we can get to their bullpen early in the series, that shapes up for a good week for us. So, at the end of the day, Howard, we're just trying to compete in the box. And then, before the game or after the game, that's where we might do a little more breakdown of the swing or the move.
It's Eric Munson. This is Inside the Indians. Indianapolis Indians hitting coach Eric Munson. See you next week on Inside the Indians.